I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Baltimore City Councilman Karen, how are you, sir?
How you doing, Donnie? Good to be with you again.
Does predatory towing exist in Baltimore?
Well, you need to know there's a couple types of towing in Baltimore City. First, you have the police accident towing, if you're involved in an accident and your car needs to be towed from the accident scene, the police call board accident towing. Then you have the public impound towing, where the parking regulations, where if you park there at 3:30 and you're supposed to be out of there at 3, then you tow to Falls Way, the public towing. What is a predatory towing, which most folks are upset about, and I've been trying to curb the trespass towing industry for years. Trespass towing is where you park on somebody's private property and they yank you out of there within a minute, or if you come back and get your car and the car is engaged to be towed, they negotiate a drop fee. In the long run, that's what people probably think more about predatory towing, because I was saying public towing, when you know that you're not supposed to park on St. Paul Street at a given hour in the morning and the afternoons, that people know that. But sometimes people are literally towed from what they think is an okay spot to tow from the park for even a short period of time, and they're towed by the trespass towers. There's 15 trespass towers in Baltimore City that have 71 tow trucks registered to do trespass towing. For years, I've done legislation to curb some of those practices.
Have any of the pieces of legislation
Yes,
passed?
they have. What they do is I mandated that they have to have more signage so people understand that when they go into a private lot, such as we're up here in Coppin University for the Mayoral debate. If a car was literally parked here overnight when it shouldn't be, these lots are posted, as other private businesses are, for trespass towing. But what we've come more to find out is sometimes even private apartment complexes would mandate that the residents have a hang tag on the over the mirror in your car, and sometimes these towers will shake the car so the hang tag falls down and they don't see the hang tag and they tow the car.
Well, how are they allowed to continue? I mean, $300 for parking,
well, actually,
in a $350 for a truck?
They could charge up to $460 if they wanted to. But over the years,
is there a limit? I mean, is there any limit? And then how come a $30 ticket goes to $700-800?
Well, the parking ticket is different than from the trespass tows.
Well, as a citizen, we just see it all as a ripoff. Help me out.
Well,
so it's two different things.
It's two different things. It's called trespass towing from private property and impound towing due to parking regulations violations.
Like rush hour.
Rush hour,
downtown.
peak hours. And folks got to know, and folks that live along certain of the strips know that at 7 o'clock in the morning, they need to open up that lane on that side.
Okay, 25th and St. Paul. They got little 25 cent meters, 50 cent meters.
Right.
You go inside, you forget to hit the meter, you get a $5 sandwich, you get a $35 ticket. My only question is, does it hurt business?
Oh, sure, especially the trespass towing. Now, you're talking about at the meters is a public tow because whoever the individual was didn't put their money in the meters.
Or they parked on a 7-Eleven parking lot
now,
and didn't
here's the
go
problem.
there.
When you park on a parking lot that's not associated with the business you're going to, you're leaving yourself open for a trespass tow, and that's where the real predatory practices come in.
Well, tell me about that.
That's when you park on somebody's private property. Now, I've done legislation over the years that mandates that they have to have more signage. If folks were aware that you can't park in this lot because it's private property, then they're less prone to pull into that lot and be towed. We had a lot up in Hamilton, the 2900 block of Hamilton Avenue, right before Hartford Road, that used to be a free paid parking lot. And the owner of the lot then contracted a parking management firm called Potomac Parking to manage the lot and charge a very minimal rate for 3 hours of parking, $1. And you put the sticker in your windshield, but if you were expired in that or you didn't have that little sticker in your windshield, you were towed to be prone. Now here's the problem. People were pulling in and just stopping there for a second to get a snowball, and they find out that the car's engaged to be towed, and then you got to negotiate a drop fee, which is usually half of the $300, or the machine there only took change. It didn't take dollar bills, it didn't take credit cards. So if you had
the city acts like a crack addict. I mean, my God, how much money does it need?
All right. Let me explain now.
Okay.
This parking lot there.
Okay.
So people are being engaged to be towed when they walk across the street to get changed and put in the box there where you have all the numbered letters, what parking space you're in. And what happened was we confronted the Potomac parking management, and they said, well, the monies we get from the parking revenue there only pays for the maintenance and sanitation of the lot. So what they didn't tell us is, well, where do you make your money then? They make the money by, and I can only allege this, I shouldn't say this because I don't know. I've been told
how do you think they make their money?
I've been told, so it's not coming from me, it's secondhand, that there is a kickback scheme from the towers to the lot owners to get cars towed off their lots.
Now, would that have anything to do with
and
the 17 police officers that got recently hemmed up?
That's a different situation. Like I say, there's 3 types of towing. The police tows are from the accident scenes. And what they were doing there, instead of calling the proper medallion tower to tow from an accident scene, they were offering the person that was involved in an accident that, hey, if you go to this firm here, they'll pay your towing charge and also to pay your deductible. And as you know, Donnie, if it sounds too good
to be true,
it probably isn't. So what they were doing, those folks were being steered to that lot of the Majestic, allegedly, because it's still in the courts right now, but obviously the one officer did plead guilty, and to getting $300 kickback for sending that car to Majestic. But then that is what you call an insurance scam. It wasn't money out of the pocket of the folks that got towed, it was an insurance scam. As you know, you live in Baltimore City, we pay exorbitant car insurance prices versus all other surrounding subdivisions. It was part of an insurance scam. So that's the police towing for the accident scene. You got the police towing, you got the public towing for the violation of the parking regulations on St. Paul Street. If you're there at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're not supposed to be there 7 to 9, you'll get towed. And then you have the trespass towing, which most people refer to as a predatory because of the practice they use. And that's on private property. So over the years, I've put in 9 pieces of legislation in the City Council tightening up those rules on trespass towing. That is what people most likely feel violated.
Okay, question. Do the meter maids in Baltimore City have a quota?
I don't know that for sure. I know they're out there doing their job.
I would say they're doing their job. I think it ought to be a moratorium on how long they can keep that job, because it looks like they're taking their frustrations out on people.
Obviously, if you parked illegally after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock in the morning,
here she comes.
She's going to come down. I know I watch with interest a program on cable channel from A&E channel called the Parking Wars. It's on. It's basically based on the PPA, the Philadelphia Parking Authority, where they tell them bing a bang a boom, and it's a comical thing. Not comical, because people go in and get their cars, they're not happy, they're hot, and they're upset. But my advice to those, put money in the meters. You won't get a ticket. My advice to those is don't park in parking regulation zones after the tow hours that you're to be towed. And my advice is make sure you park, if you park in any private parking lot, that you know you're taking your risk, that is posted as private property. So you gotta have the rights of people who own private property, but the exorbitant prices they charge leads to predatory practices. There's, in this town, I estimate over 60,000 people are towed every year, but you call non-consensual tow.
Okay, with all of that money, how's the city broke?
Well, that money pays for the money that we get from the parking revenue management that pays the meters, and maybe the.
I mean, it seems like a profitable business to me.
Well, that money is supposed to be destined for improvement at the Pulaski Highway tow yard and the operations that go over there. So my advice is, put your money in the meters. Don't park in an impound zone 7 to 9 or 4 to 6 in the afternoon. And if you're parking on somebody's lot, make sure it's okay. If you don't see the signs, it's okay. But if you see a sign saying private property, you could be towed, and that could be a problem.
Good deal. Thank you very much, Councilman.
All right, Tony, take care. Glad to be on your station again.
Yes, sir. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.